I mean, 9 matches? Tony, that's just a lot. That's damn near criminal. I mean, seriously. How does he really expect me to get all 9 matches down in one video? It just doesn't make any sense. I don't know. Let's just get this shit over with. Welcome back, everyone, to the K-Fabe experience. I'm KD, and today we're going to be going over everything AEW's Revolution 2025, top to bottom, scrubbing through till it's squeaky clean. It was a good one, and it was a long one. So, without further ado, let's jump into it. And so, as we usually do here, we're going to be going through this in match order, and we started off with a juicy one. MJF and Hangman Adam Page start us off with an unpredictable match filled with a couple of near falls, a couple false buckshot lariats, and a couple good holy Shida moments. MJF's piledriver to Hangman Adam Page onto a steel chair was our first Holy Shida moment of the night. Hangman hits his trifecta with the Deadeye, the Angel's Wings into the buckshot lariat to put the plaid scarf wearing, dirty diamond dancing, temper tantrum throwing Maxwell Jacob Friedman away, counting the 1-2-3 pin, securing the victory, ending the feud. Is this the end of the feud between the two? I'd like to think so. This one felt really satisfying as an ending to this rivalry, given the callbacks that were happening during the match. We had Hangman spitting in MJF's face, and also Hangman using Christopher Daniels' finisher onto MJF. It just felt like a really good cherry on top moment for Hangman, and I don't see a reason why we should drag this out. It was a super solid match and a great way to set the tone for the rest of the night. Moving things along, we had Mercedes Moné versus Momo Watanabe for the TBS Championship. Not a whole lot to say on this one. It was as straightforward as you could imagine it to be. Mercedes Moné isn't letting her TBS title go anytime soon, and Stardom's Momo Watanabe certainly isn't going to be the one to dethrone her. However, it is worth noting that Momo is a hell of a pit bull in the ring. I mean, Momo strikes to Mercedes Moné a couple times to the freaking mouth and nose, but ultimately Mercedes hits a flying crossbody into the Moné maker and then beautifully transitions into the statement maker, forcing Momo to tap out. All right, so looking at our first classic of the night, Ricochet versus Swerve Strickland in a #1 contenders match. Yeah, this match was a ball all throughout. Whatever you think of Ricochet, sure, I get it. Not the greatest talker, has a weird way of getting people to buy into his character. But man, can this guy perform. Him and Swerve are a match made in heaven, both so greatly equal and different at the same time. The story in this match really revolves around Prince Nana, and we see this multiple times throughout the match. The first instance where Ricochet is able to have Swerve Strickland bump into Prince Nana, having Prince Nana huff and puff his way out of the ring, only to come back, have this whole embassy robe debacle shenanigan go on, ultimately causing Ricochet to lose the match. Swerve was able to catch Ricochet off guard, and after a few near-fall roll-ups, Swerve hits Ricochet with 2 house calls and ultimately finishes him with a big pressure drive. 1, 2, 3. Swerve retrieves the embassy robe, graciously presents it back to Prince Nana. Swerve Strickland becomes the #1 contender for the AEW World Championship, but yet again. Next up, we had Kazuchika Okada versus Brody King for the AEW Continental Championship. Another quick and to the point one here. Spoiler alert, Okada retains and leaves another Hound of Hell in the dust. Brody King goes in for a cannonball. Kazuchika Okada says to hell with that, ducks out of the way, lands a drop kick, avoids a lariat, and Okada counters King with a Rainmaker for the finish. Simple, effective, we got to the finish line, and again, I'm left asking, who the hell is going to take the title off of this guy? Next stop on the Revolution train, we had our first and only tag team match of the night, the Hurt Syndicate versus the Outrunners. I mean, not gonna lie, I couldn't even really get behind this match to begin with. Maybe it's because the Outrunners aren't my cup of tea, but next to Mercedes Moné and Kazuchika Okada's match, this was the most predictable one. Outrunners did their best, but in the end, we knew the Hurt Syndicate were going to leave this match still the champs. And they did. Bada bing, bada boom, you're out. Next up, please. All right, moving on to... Wait, what? Wait, you want to do that at the end? Well, I mean, yeah, but that kind of defeats the purpose of going in match order. I mean, I guess you're the boss. Okay, folks, I was just given word by my producer. It's me. I'm the producer. That we're going to be saving the best for last because the last sure as hell wasn't the best. Instead, let's move on to our second classic of the night. Kenny Omega takes on Konosuke Takeshita for the AEW International Championship. Omega breaks his loss streak against Takeshita and takes home the international title in a physical bout by two men who are both so gifted in the ring. Besides a failed attempt by Don Callis to interfere and protect Takeshita, Kenny was able to take advantage of this and get the former international champion into a crucifix pin for the 3 count, getting him the victory. Just awesome storytelling with this one. It's a Kenny Omega versus Konosuke Takeshita match. I mean, what do you think is going to happen? Just a beautiful triumphant return from the god of wrestling. And then Tony Khan said, "We are not finished yet," giving us our third classic of the night. Will Ospreay taking on his former United Empire teammate Kyle Fletcher in a steel cage match. And oh yeah, these two absolutely brought it. I mean, just look at how they started it even before the bell rang. Standing on top of a steel cage as if it's nothing and just staring through each other as if the first person who blinks dies. And then what went on inside the steel cage was just another level of carnage that was so epic. Steel chairs, barbed wire baseball bats, thumbtacks. Mick Foley is so proud. And a Spanish fly from the top of the steel cage as if it was nothing. I'm still left speechless. These two clash and work so damn well together. You have Will Ospreay as the face with some grit, and Kyle Fletcher behaving as the perfect bad guy, literally the person you love to hate. Epic match with a beautiful ending that had Will Ospreay going in for the Tiger Driver onto Kyle Fletcher, securing him the win. All right. Let's get this out of the way. Yes, the main event. Cope, God, I hate that name, versus Jon Moxley for the AEW World Championship belt. It happened. Guys, look, I'm gonna level with you. This was a boring as hell main event match. Moxley and Cope just had no chemistry together. There were fumbles all over the place, botches to be seen. You know, besides the Wheeler Yuta and Jay White run-in, the match was just really as predictable as you can make it. Moxley retained. Christian Cage fumbled the bag so hard, gets choked out on his cash-in, and Cope, well, looked not spectacular. The match was just as predictable as you could expect it to be. Jon Moxley grabs his little briefcase, exits through the stands. Moxley looks up and sees freaking Batman. Swerve jumps down from the stands, beats Moxley's ass, puts him down, and does, you know, the thing. Yeah, just definitely crushing the momentum that the night had been building up to thus far. Which now leads me to the real main event of Revolution. The Hollywood ending. Talk about an all-timer. This match was fueled by a fire, so emotionally driven, by a story told so incredibly well by two fantastic women in the most brutal way possible. I just don't have the time in this video to go over the incredible story that is Timeless Toni Storm versus Mariah May. We would be here forever. So I implore you, to those who may be unfamiliar, to just look it up, because you will not be disappointed. This quite literally was the climactic grand finale to their Hollywood story, and they could not have told it any better. From the first few minutes, you could tell where this match was going to go. Toni Storm sending Mariah May straight through the table off rip, off of the ramp. And literally what came next was blood, and just more blood.
I miss her already.
We're talking both ladies wrapping their hands up in tape, sticking them in buckets of broken shards of glass, having a boxing match with them, smashing champagne bottles where the sun don't shine, and the most beautiful cinematic pin I think I've ever seen. Both women just executing their finishers in the middle of the ring on broken shards of glass, just not holding anything back, simply telling the best story they could, as it always has been, together. The curtain calls. The rose is given. The fat lady has sung her final tune. I feel a hole inside that was once filled by a rivalry fueled by rage, deception, and love. But it's over now. Nothing lasts forever. Nothing ever should. But anyways, that is going to do it for this breakdown of AEW's Revolution 2025. It was a solid one, an A-star pay-per-view event. Yes, main event included. Now that Omega is champion, I wonder if this is going to spark a new rivalry for him in the future. Or are they seeking to rerun this Takeshita rivalry, perhaps trying to get a best of 5? Honestly, I'm hoping it's the former, not the latter. And now that we've had our beautiful Timeless Toni Storm Mariah May grand finale, what comes next for Timeless Toni Storm? Who is next in line for their shot at the AEW Women's World Championship? In all honesty, I kind of want Mercedes Moné to take a crack at it. I mean, I think they have to find a way to get the TBS Championship off of her first, but they could seek to paint her in all gold, making her 5-belt Moné. But of course, you know the drill. I'm going to pass the question on to you. What do you think is going to happen in the fallout of one of the best ever told women's rivalries in pro wrestling of all time? Yeah, I'm saying that with my chest. 10 toes down all day. Do you love the direction they're going in with Moxley and the Death Riders? Do you hate it? Or are you just sitting here as curious as I am, wondering what the hell they were doing with Christian Cage fumbling the cash-in and getting choked out? This is going to do it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed. If you did, please go ahead and give a thumbs up down below. And if you want to hit subscribe, well, you know, I won't cry. And of course, I got to plug this, but guys, look, this was a spectacular main event and there will be many more. I simply just don't have the time to compress it and condense it all in a watchable video. So reminder, I go live on Twitch throughout the week, so come peep the stream. You might get 2 booms and a chicken bake. If you're lucky, I don't know. I will see you all on the next one with some more K-Fabe, so until next time.